Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Macia Redondo. Today I'll be talking to you about a conversational document search using Azure AI Search. Just to go over the topics that I'll cover today, starting with an overview of what the Azure AI Search service is, some software and architecture requirements for this service to work and different projects, Azure AI Search features, and talking about what Azure AI Search can bring to your projects. Then the data container, just come to expand a bit further on the search features, and search optimization techniques to find out a bit on how Azure AI Search works and how you can make it improve in performance. And finally, just a bit overview of the business benefits and the conclusions that it can offer. Starting off with the overview of Azure AI Search. A bit of context on this project. This is implemented with an observation deck. Observation deck is a comprehensive framework built for large screen and boardroom meetings, which enables executives to drive and control business performance through collaborative data-driven decisions. It focuses on providing business intelligence and other KPIs directly to the screen in a presentable format. The requirement for this project was to search information in specific documents, specifically those from company. Things like, for example, employee guidelines or other documents that are relevant to the company. And secondly, to integrate it within a chatbot in order to have a conversational interface in which to conversationally query your data in an easy understanding way. So why the conversational document search? Well, first of all, it gives you a much better understanding of your own data. And second of all, it's a much more intuitive extraction of information rather than to search documents yourself. An overview of the main service that we're using for this functionality. Azure AI Search. Azure AI Search, which is formerly known as Azure Cognitive Search, is a cloud-based search service. The search service is specifically designed on your own data. It helps you organize all the data that you have in order to make it searchable and interactable with the Azure environment. It is also powered by AI, and it leverages AI to understand meaning behind searches and queries, and also to add some feedback to the queries in order to improve itself. It also focuses a lot on customization and providing you the right tools and configuration so that you can treat your data and the product in any way you want, tailored to your needs. And lastly, in terms of integration, since this is within Azure, Azure AI Search integrates very well with other Azure ecosystem apps, such as OpenAI or other data sources. Going on with the system architecture and requirements, for this project, Azure AI system is usually composed of three main sections for it to work. The first one, most important, is Azure AI Search, which is the middle one in this graphic. And this is connected on one side to your data sources, which we know is a data container, usually in a cloud storage, but it's usually the way and the place where you store documents and your data. It can be behind the firewall or in the cloud, and is connected to the Azure AI Search via the indexing engine. Secondly is the application interface, which is the one that's assigned to make the queries and receive the responses in order to provide them to the end user. So a bit more in depth, this is how exactly the architecture looks for the observation deck project. As you can see, we have the UX and the UI, which connects to a server, which connects to the Azure AI Search service when the user makes a query. Then the Azure AI Search is also connected to the right to the data sources and data that it has to query from. Gives you some knowledge response, and then this knowledge response is also leveraged using Azure OpenAI in order to provide conversational responses. The Azure AI Search features, going a bit more in depth into the technology. First of all, the Azure AI Search is divided into three main components. The first one is the indexing engine. The indexing engine is the one that takes as an input all the data sources that you have, ingests the data, processes it, and organizes into a structured searchable index, configurable with cognitive skills, something that we'll go into more detail in the next slides. The second is indexes and other structures. You can think of indexes as databases, and the indexer process is to generate these indexes so that the query engine can make queries and add extra information to the indexes in order to retrieve data. Thirdly is the query engine. The query engine in Azure AI Search is the one that processes the user queries, it matches them against the index data, and then returns the knowledge based on the user configuration, based on racking and retrieval algorithms, which we'll also go into more detail a bit later on. Now, for the indexers, which are probably the most core functionality of Azure AI Search, You can tailor a solution that's designed to your specific needs by using something that is known in the Azure ecosystem as cognitive skills. Cognitive skills are just processes that allow to extract more data and enrich with metadata the data structures that you already have, like documents and other stuff. There are three different kinds of cognitive skills. There are cognitive skills is, for example, to extract information. You can identify people, places, sentiment, and other key entities. You can have cognitive skills to understand the content, things like categorize images or perform OCR on graphical documents. And you can also use them to transform data. So for example, to break down large text files into chunks. You can do translations, and it can convert to AI optimized format by doing something like embeddings with AI models. So a collection of cognitive skills becomes a reusable skill set. Skill sets are something that you apply to index engines in order to have reusable skill sets that you can apply to multiple different indexes and therefore search between multiple different sources. Cognitive skills, this is very important because they can also be manually created and developed, which allows for a custom implementation for any need that you may have and apply it directly to the indexer in order to process the data as you want. Moving on to the data container functions. The data container is the storage area where all your documents and data are stored. Here's where you manage all of the data. The most important thing here is that it supports a wide variety of information. You have a wide variety of text formats like PDF, text, and CSV. You can also support graphic and video formats by using external services like the Azure AI Video Indexer, also within the Azure ecosystem. It can also support data from Azure data sources like blob storages, Cosmos DBs, and Azure SQL databases. And additionally, also supports external data sources, as for example, Amazon or Confluence. It's important to notice that, as we mentioned before, by using cognitive skills, you can extract extra metadata from all these data sources and enrich your data so it becomes more searchable and more optimal for results. Now moving on to the demo. This right here is Observation Deck. Observation Deck is the platform that we mentioned before, where it's all of the business intelligence and different KPIs are presented to executives so that there's a better overview of any company data. Here, as you can see, we have different information and different executive summaries of the company sections like production, project insights, human resources, and such. In here, we have a toolbar, and we implemented the chatbot section. In here, we also connected it to the document search functionality so that you can ask conversationally for any documents. In here, this is connected first to a storage. Here, for example, is the portal of Azure. Portal of Azure is where we store everything from the index configuration to the containers and everything related to Azure AI Search. If we go, for example, to the container that we're looking at right now, we have, for example, multiple different files. In text format, we have a CSV, we have multiple TXTs, and we have an MD file. We have the company's employee guide, some Harry Potter books, and such. So after we include some documents here, and we could upload new documents if that's what we wanted to do, we need to run the indexer. The indexer is, as we mentioned, something that we configure with the skill set in order to make sure that we have the indexes to search the information from. Here we can manually execute the indexer, or by default, we can also attach it to certain processes that will automatically run the indexer when new documents are uploaded. Here, as you can see, the indexer run, and it has the correct status. And also, before moving on to the queries, we can also take a look at the specific skill set that I did for this document search functionality. In here, we can see a JSON configuration file of all the cognitive skills that have been applied to this specific skill set. In our case, for example, we decided firstly to use the Azure OpenAI embedding skill, which is designed to translate the information of the documents into AI optimized language, in this case, embeddings. This is used, for example, using the text ADA model from OpenAI. And we also use the split skill cognitive skill, which is designed to chunk large documents into different sections, which are a bit more manageable. So moving on, after we have configured the index, we have uploaded the files from the indexer, and now we have an index to search with. We can make queries on this. This just connects to the API, and returns the response, which is then parsed into an LLM, in this case GPT, in order to provide a conversational response. We could ask something like, what are the vacation days in Barcelona? And here, for example, it makes the query to the API, and as you can see, we get a response. We can expand this. And as you can see, it just says that part-time employees in Barcelona is 23 vacation days per year. An additional feature from this is that it also gives you citation, and it cites the exact documents from which it extracted the information. We could also ask information based on the context of this and not asking specifically for the keywords so you could see the different functionality. We could ask something like, what about in Croatia? And in this case, it would take the previous context and understanding that the question is about the vacation days, still with all the guidelines. So searching and indexing Azure AI search is composed of two execution layers. Firstly is the retrieval. The retrieval is a layer one method that quickly retrieves documents from the index. By using either configuration that we'll go over just in a second, it extracts a lot of documents that may be relevant for the query that the user has performed. The second one is the ranking. The second layer is designed to refine these results and order them in order to get the most relevant results first and filter the ones that may not be as adequate. So how does the search work? Here, as you can see in the graphic, we have all the flow from the documents until the end result. For the retrieval, there are multiple different algorithms that we can configure. We have, for example, full text keyword search based, which is designed to look for specific keywords in the document and in the query and return the ones that match. We also have vector retrieval, which focuses more on the conceptual likeness. By condensing different words and sentences into vectors, we can apply a value based on their meaning. We have hybrid retrieval, which is focused on both the meaning and the full text keyword retrieval, making the benefits of both the retrieval methods. And finally, we also have RAG retrieval, which is focused on using LLM in order to do the retrieval process of this section. For the ranking process, as you can see from the graphic, we have two sections. There are two phases in this ranking. There are different methods. First of all is the semantic. The semantic also looks at the relevance based on the conceptual meaning of the documents and on the query. Vector looks at the vectorial value, which can be configured differently from the semantic value, and it sorts them based on the vector value and the similarity. And finally, we also have a hybrid model for both the ranking and the retrieval. Here, as you can see, as an additional thing, we perform a second ranking whenever we do the first one. This is in order to get even more accurate results. So for observation deck, we decided to go for a hybrid retrieval, which combines keyword and vector-based search to locate relevant documents efficiently. This is because not only we're interested in specific keywords like places and people, but we're also interested in the semantics and the meaning behind the words of the query and the documents. And at the same time, we use semantic ranking in order to use advanced language models to refine and prioritize the results, the search results by relevance, and perform the semantic re-ranking in order to even further emphasize on the ranking section. Here on the right, as you can see, there is a graphic that is designed to show the number of accurate results by a percentage of queries. This is provided by Microsoft. And as you can see, the hybrid and semantic ranker is the one that outperforms constantly the rest of the methods. Finally, moving on to the business benefits and conclusions of using the document search. So integrating Azure AI search into your app transforms how businesses access and use their data. It's very clear that this leads straight to a faster decision-making by reducing the time that is spent on searching your own documents for specific information. The second is the discovery of insights. By using AI, you may be able to come upon different information that on yourself might otherwise be missed on several documents. And finally, there's also customizable searches. There's the fact that users can customize their data, the search settings, and the AI model settings in order to fine-tune and tailor the project specifically to the requirements that you have. So thank you very much for this time. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comments. Try to answer them to the best of our knowledge. And if not, you can contact us at clearpix.com or at info@clearpix.com. Thank you.